10 ways to kill your insecurity. Number one,
practice gratitude.
Number 2, minimize comparison.
Number 3, remind myself of previous wins.
Number 4, social breaks.
Number 5, solitude.
Number 6, friends that speak life.
Number 7, purpose. Who am I and what do I want?
Number 8, evaluate my intake.
Number 9, prayer.
Number 10, set a goal and crush it. Come on now, roll that intro.
Let's go, baby. Welcome back to the Love Leadership Podcast. I'm Mike O'Connell,
Come on.
and I'm with our special guest today.
Hey, now,
Come
let's
on,
go.
folks. Let's give it up for my man, Adam. Let's go. Come on.
Hey,
in
come
the
on.
building.
It's so good to be here, man. And just, it's so exciting. I've had the opportunity over this last couple years to be on the Love Church team. My name is Adam Deidel. I'm the executive creative pastor here at Love. And man, I just have the incredible opportunity to lead all of our great creatives, whether they're on the worship team, production team, marketing teams. Man, these are some of the best of the best. And man, it's just been such a joy getting to be a part of the team. But you know, the wild thing is, man, in a new environment, it comes with some challenges.
For sure.
And one of those challenges, man, is dealing with those devils on the inside.
That's it, man.
See, sometimes it's all about what's going on around us, but the wild thing is sometimes we're the one that gets in our own way. And so, man, we just thought today we could hop on and talk just a little bit about insecurity.
Absolutely.
And so, man, I would love to I know this is something that you're super deeply passionate about. And man, so we just love to catch your perspective, man. Like when you hear the word insecurity, man, like what sticks out to you? Like what is your first thing that comes to mind when you think about this idea?
Well, I think what you just said, man. I mean, really, insecurity is something that happens on the inside,
Right.
and then shows up in the results on the outside.
Come on now.
Like insecurity is always an inside thing before it's an outside thing.
Right.
And so it's something that we have to deal with, man. And I just think, you just kicked it off perfectly there. I love that you even shared just how, you've come onto the team here at Love in the last couple of years.
Come on.
And I just got to say this, man, because, you're on the pod today.
That's
so
right.
So your boy is going to show some honor because.
Hey, come on. Thank you.
Really, and you guys have heard this if you've been listening. Pastor Todd, who's not with us, shout out Pastor Todd, by the way. We hope that
right.
your sabbatical is amazing right now. We can't wait for you to be back. But, he's been sharing how this podcast is really to serve this local church first.
Come on.
And then any leaders beyond that. And so what you need to know, Love Church, is Pastor Adam and just the impact that you're having, man. We just want to say thank you. There's a lot of things that people experience, whether it be on a Sunday or how they interact with Love Church, even online, all the marketing that's happening. There are people engaging with Love Church,
right?
And they don't really know that it's your mind, your hands behind it, and you're just doing a great job leading, man. And we're better because you're a part of it. And I think it's so funny. I just, even before we get into the insecurity topic, bro, how did we even become friends, man? I mean, you love to joke every single opportunity. So I'm literally teeing you up to throw a jab at your boy as we start this podcast.
Here's the wild thing, man. This is for free. You didn't have to pay for this one. Do ministry with people that you love to do life with. Because, man, you will go farther when you're doing it with people you love. And, man, it was such a cool thing. Going back 5 years ago, it's been almost that long now, which is like wild to think that we connected that long ago. And I always tell you, anybody that would ever listen, I'll tell them that you slid into my DMs.
Jeez. You got to give context to that, brother.
Come on now. We just got to let them hang on that, bro. Come on. No, like every good budding relationship in this decade, it started in the DMs. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying.
Can I get facts from the producers over here to the right?
That's true. Hey, they're agreeing. Come on. We go. But man, you were the youth pastor here at Love, and man, just connecting with people in the city.
Yep.
And it was unique. I was in a season young in ministry, and I'd worked in corporate America for almost a decade. And coming out of that, going back, knowing that God had a call in my life, but I didn't know how to walk in that. Had a pastor look me dead in the eyes, call it out of me. And it was one thing to another, from a serve team to a director role to the first full-time staff hire to the executive pastor of the organization over about a 3-year period of time. That really, man, was this growth journey that I could have never imagined for myself. And you happened to interject yourself in my story in the middle where there was opportunity for us to just bless one another. You know, we quickly realized we were of similar personality, similar mindset, drive. We both had this just hunger to grow.
Yep.
I mean, there was something that you had that I wanted, and there were things that I knew or skill sets that I had that were valuable to you. And man, it led to this awesome friendship where, you know, about every 2 months for 3 years, we faithfully got coffee.
Yep.
Shout out to Stories Coffee in
on,
Omaha.
right? Let's go.
That was our spot.
That is the spot.
And so, man, we would jump in and we would ask hard questions.
That's it.
You know, and the beautiful thing was God used that season where there were seasons where I leaned on you through some of the hardest things, you know, having experienced, you know, a lead pastor who was removed from ministry, and having to walk through that process, asking God, like, is my call still for me without him?
Wow.
For you to walk through new roles in an organization that you felt ill-equipped for.
For sure.
And so, man, like this podcast today, man, we're not coming from you getting it, you know, having it had it all figured out, or having not walked through some of these moments of like, what would you do in that situation?
Totally. Yeah, there's no way that even in a 30-minute conversation right now, we could let people into 5 years of vulnerable moments where we're going, what do I do here? But I think there's even a principle in that before we get into to insecurity. And this is actually on the list as one of the things, but I think that the nature of this podcast is to develop leaders.
Yep.
And you're becoming like those that you run with.
That's right.
One of the greatest principles that I think we could give people, again, for free, this wasn't planned, whatever, come on. But the atmosphere you permit decides the product you produce.
That's right.
You need to find somebody outside of your context that can invest in you and you can invest in them. Why?
Yep.
Because there's neutral perspective.
Yep.
So right now we have the beautiful privilege. We're actually building the same organization now.
Come on now.
That's crazy, right? We never would have imagined that was where this relationship would end. And it's just fun and it's awesome. And there still very much is this like, I'm giving you what my strengths are and you're giving me what your strengths are. But it is different.
That's right.
And there's still a need to have those relationships outside of this context that can help us elevate, go to the next level, see something differently, maybe in a way that we haven't seen it. So that's a challenge for somebody right now. And I think it's a good segue actually into this idea of insecurity.
Let's be honest though, man. The fact is we're not honest with ourselves. Like, I'm just going to say that again. You are lying to yourself every single day. The fact is the way we see ourselves is not the truest reality. And so, man, we need those people in our lives that are the mirror to our face to look at us and say, this ugly mug you got on the other side, that's who you really are.
For sure.
But I love you enough to help you see that and grow in it.
That's so good, man.
But the truth is, man, like when we're in the heat of it, it gets clouded.
It's very cloudy.
It's like,
or we deceive ourselves.
Oh, 100%.
Like we just don't want to be honest with what's really going on.
100%, man. And so I think it really, if nothing else, you know, we think about this principle of killing our insecurity. Something's got to die.
That's it.
We're going to start with this today, just saying there are things in your life right now, if you want to go to the next level, that have to die. And it gets messy.
100%.
And it gets weird.
That's
and it gets awkward. And you're like, man, these things, they're my best friends. I've been living with them my whole life. These voices, these things that I've been living with, they become dear friends of mine. But now I got to put them to death.
That's it.
And the beautiful thing is God's so clear about this. God shares so many beautiful stories. We enter his courts with thanksgiving and praise.
That's it.
And so the classic story, right? David, Goliath.
Oh man.
This monstrous story, great victory. Everybody should be celebrating. And yet there's this one guy who's like, I don't like that guy. And, you know, maybe you could break that down for us, man. This like idea of how that level of comparison, insecurity, man, it leads to one of the wildest action movie storylines in the Word. Just break it down, man. Like, make it plain for our listeners. We read the Bible and we'll overcomplicate it.
Oh, for sure.
Make it plain.
But I will make it plain. But your boy I want to read 3 verses.
Come on.
Just because I think this will set up our listeners. Maybe you're listening and you're not familiar with the story of David and Saul and David and Goliath and all that. And that's cool. That's fine. I'm going to give you a little context right now. 1 Samuel chapter 18, powerful section of scripture. In verse 6, it says, when the victorious Israelite army was returning home after David had killed the Philistine, meaning Goliath, women from all the towns of Israel came out to meet King Saul. They sang and danced for joy with tambourines and cymbals. This was their song. Saul has killed his thousands and David his 10,000s. So what's happening here is they're coming back. I mean, think about it. When an NBA championship team wins or a Super Bowl, what happens? The city, what? They throw a party, a celebration. Baby. There's this big parade. So this is what's going on here. There's this big parade.
That's right.
But what they're chanting is Saul has killed his thousands and David his 10,000s.
That's right.
Enters in the drama. Here we go. Verse 8. This made Saul very angry. He said, what's this? They credit David with 10,000s and me with only thousands. Next, they'll be making him their king. So from that time on, Saul kept a jealous eye on David. I mean, leaders, this is crazy. And I'll be the first to tell you that I've been victim of jealousy myself.
Right.
And I like to say this, jealousy is an equal opportunity offender.
Come on.
If you're breathing, you are susceptible.
Yep.
Let me just tell you that today, right now. There's nobody that is not susceptible to falling into the trap of being jealous. But here's the problem with what happens to Saul. Yep. And I think a lot of leaders need to be like literally broken free from this mindset. Because in this moment, who's the leader? Who's the king?
Yep. It's Saul.
It's Saul.
He's the man.
He's the leader, right? So, and who is one of the people that he's in charge of leading?
David.
David is under the leadership of King Saul.
That's right.
So here's the reality. What he heard was that he killed his thousands and David his 10,000s. But as the leader, what is really attributed to your account?
Right.
11,000. You see, this is where we miss it, man. This is where we miss it. And there's kind of three things that I just want to say about this story before we jump into our 10 points. And it's this. Insecure people compare when they should be celebrating.
Yep.
What Saul should have been doing is celebrating. The second thing is insecure people would rather receive the credit than give the credit. Hello, somebody.
Yep.
And the third thing is insecure people keep their eyes on man when they should be on God. I like to say this, get your eyes out of the window and into the mirror.
That's good.
Start getting aware about what's going on because insecurity is killing your potential. Insecurity kills potential more than failure ever will. Insecurity kills more dreams than failure ever will. You got to kill insecurity before insecurity kills you.
Yep.
Man, my goodness. I feel like the anointing of Luke Rels, by the way, producer over here getting married this week. I mean, he was spitting bars before this. Right. And now I feel like the anointing's come on us. Are you fired up right now to talk about this? Why don't you jump into...
I want to jump in really quick.
Yeah.
So you're saying, Mike, leadership is a team sport?
That's it. Yeah.
We're not playing golf here, boys.
Nope.
Listen.
Nope.
Your score doesn't count for just you.
It's so true, man.
Listen, who have I told you? Who's my least favorite basketball player of all time? Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Why?
You have said that.
The boy balls out in college, right?
Yeah.
Tearing it up, wins a natty. He's like, oh, look, check it out. Gets to the NBA, gets a couple contracts down the road, and the next thing you know, nobody wants to play with him. The guy's putting up 50, and his team is under 500.
Crazy, man.
Here's the thing. You can't do it alone.
You can't. Nope.
You can't do it alone. So here's the thing. The sooner you realize as a leader that this is a team sport, that your combined score is actually what's going to determine whether you win the game or not.
That's so good.
It will change your life. It will change the way you think.
Yeah.
It will change the way that, for many of us, we haven't even gotten off the court yet. There's some of you that are listening to this podcast. You're a CEO of an organization. You're a director on a big team. You're still playing when you should have been coaching.
That's it. Yeah. Yep.
You're busy on the floor when you got guys on the floor, but all you're doing is old and getting in the way.
For sure. For sure.
You should understand your place.
Yep. That's so good, man.
And here's the thing. That's not degrading.
No, it's not at all.
Right? The first time you hear that, you're like, oh no, what does that say about me?
For sure.
But the fact is, where you can best be utilized may be in a position that you haven't even allowed yourself to be in yet.
Yep.
And so when we think about this stuff, man, it is that practical that when we start to do the math, when we start to add things up, man, we all want impact.
That's it.
We all want impact. And so, man, when I think about insecurity, as we jump into these 10 keys to killing insecurity.
And really practical things.
Right.
Right? Because people are asking like,
Right.
okay, I get the spiritual component
100%.
to this, that my identity needs to be in Christ and
Come on.
I need to take on humility and put it on every day. But like, how in my daily life do I practically move past this?
That's right. You know, Mike, when is the last time, I know for you, you do this all the time. You're probably way better at it than me. But when's the last time you sent just a thankful text message? You know what that does to your brain?
For
you know what
sure.
it does to the person on the other end of your, receiving of that gratitude? Man, this is what keeps us grounded.
100%.
This is what keeps us grounded. So if we're insecure, the opposite is secure.
Yep.
Right? So that means we got to be somewhere. We got to land somewhere. We got to be grounded.
That's it.
Right? Our identity is being grounded. And for me, the place that always comes back is this position of gratitude. Like this place, man, I'm not holding the things in my life in contempt. I'm not frustrated, resentful. I'm not mad. The things in my life, am I actually practicing the act of gratitude? Because here's what happens when you practice gratitude. Man, you can't despise that thing anymore.
So true.
When you're thankful for your wife, what happens? You see things a little differently.
Yeah.
You don't see the dishes that are undone in the sink anymore. They need to get done. But the fact is, you looking past those things to something that you're grateful for. Think about the other 97 things she does for you, bro. The laundry that's always done and folded in the right spot. But gratitude puts us in the position not to see the one in lieu of the 97.
This just happened to me, bro.
Really? Tell me
this
the story.
just happened.
I haven't heard this yet.
So God's been really challenging me with this, specifically, how can I continue? Because here's the thing, and this is the truth of the truth. The things that are closest to us
Right.
are the easiest things to
Come on.
just take for granted.
Yep.
Just call it what it is. That's why practicing gratitude inside your organization, the people that are helping you win, your
Yep.
spouse, your children, your best friends, like those are the people that are the easiest to neglect.
Yep.
Because we've just become so comfortable with them being in our life.
Yep.
So recently, what did I do? The other morning, yes, I got a little romantic, but I took sticky notes and I started writing down things that I love about my wife and putting them on her mirror in the bathroom. And it did exactly what
That's right.
what you're talking about here. Like as I was sitting there kind of present in that moment, literally thinking about, man, what am I thankful for my wife for?
Yep.
There were some things that I put down on that paper that I'm like, man, I haven't expressed this to her in quite a long time. And what it did is it just started to melt my heart.
Yep.
And give me more thankfulness, because we're getting ready to step in and celebrate 9 years of marriage, man. And we're so grateful for it. But this is a practice that needs to be cultivated. And this is a perfect example.
Dude, shout out to all of the wives that are married to driven men
Oh my goodness.
who have this motor that never stops. You are the real saints of the world.
Yes.
I just want to publicly come out and say, bro, I would not be able to do what I do without a wife who supports me even when I don't ask for it, when I don't think about it, when I lose sight of it. None of the impact that I have would even be possible. I would be a shell of a man. I would be a hot mess. I probably would be wearing the same socks as yesterday, and I would be showing up smelling today because my wife wasn't taking care of me. So shout out to her for everything she does. And the beautiful part is, man, like the people on our teams, we think about this from the marriage perspective. We tell our wives that we love them, but we sometimes lose or neglect the fact that, man, our teams, we have big expectations for them.
Yep.
We have position descriptions. It's black and white. We have project management tools that make it plain and simple.
Yep.
But just checking the box, what if it just became just that? What if marriage is just an obligation?
For sure.
Well, the romance goes away. Well, you better believe that your team feels the same way. They'll keep checking those boxes, but before long, you'll get their resignation.
That's it.
Because those things, they can only do that so long before they need affirmation or validation of all of the hard work they're doing. And so, man, like, I think it's just so important for us to continue to kind of lean into that. Share us number 2.
Yeah, minimizing comparison. I mean, I think this is crucial, man. It's just what I said earlier. Right now, the problem is we have our eyes out the window when they need to be in the mirror. Now, the reality is we live in a world where this is more difficult than ever.
Yep.
You know, the sort of illustration I like to use, and especially for young people, is, you know, when I was growing up, I had to wait until I got to school at 8:30 a.m. to start comparing myself to the people around me.
Right.
Nowadays, the alarm clock goes off. I grab my phone. I open a social media platform. And by 6:30 in the morning, I'm already comparing my reality to the people around me.
Yep.
Now, here's the truth of the matter is what do we do on those platforms? Man, we are sharing our best version.
Come on.
We talk about it. It's highlight reel. So I compare
right.
somebody's highlight reel to my reality. It creates cognitive dissonance. The greater that gap is, the more disappointment and frustration I experience. I think comparison might be the thing on here that is fueling insecurity right now at an all-time high.
Yep.
So we've got to, we say minimize it. I say stop it. I say kill it. I say get aware when you find yourself falling into that trap.
Yep.
And go as far to eliminate those things in your life that cause you to stumble and fall into the trap of comparison.
See, here's the challenge, Mike. And I hear you, but here's the truth. We're all on social media.
For sure.
So when we say stop, what the person could hear is, well, let's just toss it out.
Which becomes that becomes a Band-Aid. I've told you this before.
100%.
Like, that's not dealing with the root issue.
Right. And so here's the thing, right? Mike, you just went to Florida. You have amazing kids that everybody loves.
For sure.
You
love them.
On the outside, we could have just watched your story and been like, look at that cute family of 5 on the beach in Florida. And there are people on the backside of that, let's be honest, they were watching that and they were like, oh, I wish my family ever took a vacation.
Wow.
But I just want to be humble and say, man, like, your family inspires me so much. As a young man who has a wife and no kids, I look at what you put on social media and my perspective, listen, I've gotten this wrong plenty of times, but in this instance, man, it inspired me to what I desire to have for the future. See, we can either take these things that we intake and we can allow them to discourage us and tear us down, or we can allow them to be the inspiration that allows us to become 1% better tomorrow.
So good, man. I was recently, I love that you're sharing that, because before we jump to the next one, I want to share this perspective. I was in Orlando with the guy who created Tommy John's. They make underwear and like some of the most like luxurious and comfortable underwear and undershirts and all those sorts of things.
Come on, we're not an ad.
Not
but
an
if
ad.
you want to sponsor us,
I mean, my
bring
goodness.
it on, baby.
Seriously, I will rock those next time we're rocking an episode.
Come on.
So, but it's so good because so he says this way. He says it took me 15 years to become an overnight success. Just let that sink in for a second. 15 years.
It's almost 5,000 days.
I'm just telling you, here's the reality. That company started with some cardboard boxes and a room in their house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we've just got to understand that this is what I would always say at the surface level, because there is something about being inspired and being catapulted towards your future. And that's the power of getting our eyes on people that we desire to be like. But just remember this, there's always more to the story.
Yep.
There's always more to the story. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is remind yourself of previous wins. See, on the backside of looking at other people's, front door, their highlight reel, the thing is we can become so discouraged about our current losses, right? Like, where are we getting it wrong? And I share this with our team. We polled some of our leaders recently of areas they wanted to grow in. And you know what every single one of them told us? Discipline. I want to get better at staying healthy.
Wow.
See, here's the thing. It's one of those things we look at, we step on the scale. It's not low enough. Oh, how many times did you go to the gym this week? Oh, not enough. We look at the world around, we needed to go more and more. The truth of the matter is, though, there's so many areas in your life that you're winning. You wouldn't be where you are if you didn't have successes.
For sure.
And so the truth of the matter is we can dwell on the future, but at the same time, we have to look at the past. We have to look through that rear view mirror. You said the window. We got to look through that rear view mirror, and we have to choose what we see.
That's it, man.
We have to choose to see all the places that we've had success. You know, for you and I, man, we're Christian leaders. We look back and we say, look at God's faithfulness.
Look at his faithfulness.
Look at, man, these disciplines that I had, God's met me in that place every time, again and again and again. For you, maybe that isn't your experience listening to this podcast. Here's what I want you to know: you're breathing today.
Yep.
You got another day. That's a win. You're continuing to make steps forward. So God has been faithful to you.
That's it.
And so when we look at the past, man, I hope that each one of us can begin to grapple with this. You know, for you, man, like when you look at your past, you know, you were a former successful athlete.
Yep.
But you're not in that season anymore.
No, long gone, baby. Washed up. Like Lightning McQueen, baby. Come on.
But the fact is, you can either look back now that you're no longer an athlete and look at all those experiences and say, what were they worth? They're not worth anything now.
Wow.
Or you can look at them and realize them and taught you so much.
100%.
Man, like tell me about that. You know, you have shared that story recently of that transition of knowing God had a different plan for you. How do you look back on that? You know, because you would say maybe you failed, right?
Well, I mean, to you know, if the goal was the NFL,
right?
Guess what?
You came up short.
I didn't play in the NFL.
Right.
Newsflash.
Hey,
the closest I got was working out for the Miami Dolphins and got to wear the gear for a couple hours, and that's it.
It felt good.
But here's the reality. No, seriously, now that it's been a decade from that experience, and this is true, like some of you, it's so fresh that you don't have this perspective yet.
Yep.
Just give it some time. You're going to gain some perspective. I like to say this: don't let failure be your undertaker. Let it be your teacher.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the deal. What I realized from my experience as an athlete is there was so much that God, like, what's so funny about being an athlete is when you're an athlete, so much of what you do is physical. But what I realized is what God was really depositing in me was mental and spiritual.
Yeah.
See, we're just complex beings, physical, mental, spiritual. And there's so many components to being an athlete mentally and spiritually that I carry with me today.
Yep.
And that's why, honestly, in this season or just in general, like I want to be disciplined to focus on not on the gap, but the gain. You see what I'm saying? I want to focus on I don't want to just so always be inundated that, man, I'm just not where I want to be.
Yep.
Every once in a while, you said it earlier, you got to look in the rearview mirror at how far God has brought you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think we could riff on this some more. But this is what you're talking about is a really powerful perspective that somebody could embody to get through the insecurity that they're facing. Man, look back. Look at God's faithfulness. Look at your wins. Look at the mountains that you've overcome, because those can inform your future and how you look at it. Yep.
Number 4, share with us, Mike.
Social breaks. We kind of touched on this just briefly. We kind of riffed on this. What I would say about this is a good way to evaluate social media is this: are you using social media, or is social media using you?
Yep.
Okay. I love what you said. You can't necessarily just eliminate something. The root issue could still be there, and it might just show up in something different. The same way that you compare on social media, you might eliminate it and start doing it with all your in-person relationships.
Yep.
What we really need to ask is, do I have self-control? Do I have ownership over this tool, or does this tool have ownership over me?
That's right.
That's the real issue here.
Come on.
But every once in a while, to get to that place, we've got to call time out.
Yep.
A biblical principle for those that are Christians listening is fasting.
Yep.
It's saying no to something for a season so that we can get the right perspective about it. I think that this can be a helpful tool to break out of insecurity.
I totally agree, man. And it's interesting. We'll talk about inputs later, but man, who is that one person on your social media that you just need to mute?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Yes. They're just spewing stuff that you have no business partaking. Maybe there was a past season y'all were close, or man, they provided a lot of value in one season, but seasons change.
That's it.
Let's be real. There are times where it's just like, hey, in the landscape of what is happening in 2023, I don't need your opinion.
For sure.
For some of you, it's turning off CNN.
That's it.
For some of you, it's turning off Fox News.
Yes.
For some of you, it's getting off of Twitter.
Yep.
Right? Like here's what I want you to know. The big tech companies, I'm just going to talk to you right here. The big tech companies want to continue to push you down the rabbit hole you're already in.
Yep.
So don't let them control your life that way. They want to get you to buy things you don't need. They want to tell you a story that you don't need to know about. They need you to worry about things that you have no business worrying about. And the truth of the matter is, for you have to take back this area of your life.
100%.
And not let someone else dictate to you what it is that you're going to be taking in.
Come on, I'm feeling this.
And just
preach to me. Talk to me.
When we think about this idea of what we're taking in, man, like you said, this concept of solitude, you know, we don't talk about this enough.
It's true.
When is the last time you sat with no music playing, with no phone in your hand, with no anything buzzing around? I just would challenge you, if you're listening to this pod, take 30 minutes this week. Just one time. This is my one challenge for the month, okay? I'm not going to give you a ton of homework. I'm just saying do this one thing.
So good.
Take 30 minutes and just shut your phone off. Be in a room by yourself without the TV on. You don't need music playing. I know that's those soft worship jams, the little Tony Anderson. We love ourselves some Tony
give
Anderson,
me some
right?
Tony Anderson.
The Spirit
in my
is
ears.
flowing.
It is.
The Spirit is flowing.
His anointing's
when he's around.
on it, yeah.
But just take a second, cut through the noise. God will speak to you in
really
profound ways.
Yeah.
Here's the truth. You want to deal with insecurity? We could just watch all this and this could be the end of the pod.
It really could.
Just get with God without any of the noise, and He'll just speak it to you. Mm-hmm. Your identity. Trust me, He's good enough. He'll speak your identity right into your soul, and you'll be forever changed.
That's it.
So let's move on to number 5.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
Come on, let's keep going.
Number 5 is solitude. You just hit it.
Sheesh.
My goodness. Look at this. You just felt it in your spirit. Here's what I will say to this, and then we can actually jump to number 6. But here's what I want to say about solitude is solitude didn't happen in Jesus's life on accident or by
default.
By default. It happened by design.
Yep.
He was intentional.
That's right.
About getting solitude.
Come on.
And here's the thing. I like to say this. Either you are proactive to embrace solitude in your life, or I promise you God will find a way to get you to slow down and be quiet.
Here's the truth, man. For us, as we grow in our leadership, this is a leadership pod, right?
That's it.
So the truth of the matter is some of you guys are leading really meaningful things. Mm-hmm. And so here's what your organization needs from you. There are things that only you can provide. And one of those things to your organization is deep work.
Yep.
Only you can create that content. Only you can write that course. Only you can make that decision. Only you can do these things. Not only do you need a vacation with your family to get away and get recharged, but sometimes you need 7 days away from your email. Sometimes you need 7 days away from Slack DMs. Sometimes you need 7 days away from meetings.
Come on now.
To just breathe and get clarity on what you should do next.
That's it.
Because you've been running the same play for the last how many years, and you know it's got to change. But until you push pause and you actually do the work it's going to take to create the next thing, you're going to keep running on the hamster wheel. And so this, I think, applies just as much to our families as it does to us personally, but just as much to our organizations, that sometimes it's just stopping and doing the deep work that's going to get you unstuck.
That's it, man. I call it the 777.
The 777.
Let me just give this away practically. because I'll go as far to say is specifically if you're leading at a high level in your organization, like you are the visionary leader or you're on the executive team and you are leading a lot of people and giving a lot of direction for your organization, I would say find a way to create clarity every 7 days, every 7 weeks, and every 7 months.
Come on.
And and your time of clarity that you create. So your clarity break every 7 days might just be 30 minutes or an hour. But the one that's every 7 weeks, we're going to give ourselves a full day. Every 7 months, we might go out to two days to a full week. And this is just what it takes.
That's right.
Because if not us, then who? And if we don't have vision, what? Our people are going to perish. And nobody just drifts into the future to a desired destination.
That's right.
We've got to have vision, and we get that in solitude when we take clarity breaks. All right, number 6.
Number 6, friends that speak life.
Hello.
Like my man OC.
Come on.
Man, this is just like such a big part of our story. Like, I don't know what else to say. We already said it. The truth of the matter is, man, there are seasons where I look back, and if I'm just totally honest, man, I don't know how I made it through it or how I would have made it through it without you.
Wow.
And it's just wild to think, like you look back, hindsight's always 2020. But the fact, I don't want to make a joke about 2020.
Yeah, geez.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go
but
there.
Y'all know what I'm saying.
Too soon.
But man, like when you're in that moment and you're stuck in negativity, man, you got to have somebody that's just going to rip you out of that.
That's it.
And it's just going to say, man, like this isn't God's best for you. That feeling, that thing you're doing, the thing you're stuck in, man, like it's not correction. It's love.
It's love, baby.
It's love. They're speaking life. They're speaking future identity. Man, find a friend who will prophesy into your life.
That's it.
And speak God's future, his desired destination for you. And it changes everything. We've all been around those friends.
That's it, man.
We've all been around those friends, man. They're just gassing you up. You also know that other friend that it's like, man, every time you're with them, man, it's just this, that, the other thing. This isn't going right. This thing, man, my boss, this, those are the people that are just going to suck that life straight out of you.
For sure. And it's not contagious.
No.
So that's the question. I mean, even I want to speak just plainly to our team at Love Church right now. It's like we've been talking about this concept, like we're atmosphere architects.
That's right.
Like we set the temperature, we don't adapt to it.
Yes, sir.
We're the chief encouragement officer.
Yep.
We're going to just show up and we're going to bring that. We are going to be lid lifters.
Yep.
Because something powerful happens when we walk that out. Number one, people actually like get belief in their spirit. Right? Like we want to help people step into their God-given potential. That's what we're called to do.
Yep.
We're called to cultivate that kind of environment. Can you tell I'm passionate about this,
yes,
by
sir.
the way? I am so passionate about this because we are called to be lid lifters, baby.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to walk in. And
that's right.
I promise you, leader, don't look to anybody else to do this. Just grab a hold of this thing and start walking it out and watch how the atmosphere in your organization begins to shift as you walk this out.
Come on.
It's contagious.
In Omaha, we just had the CWS, right?
Yep.
So it's wild. People from all over the country coming here to watch a baseball game.
For real.
Right? But it's this
wild.
big thing, right?
It's crazy.
We live in Omaha. All these people roll up. And here's the wild thing. There are teams that we love to have here in Omaha. Shout out to the LSU Tigers.
I mean,
when they roll up,
our economy goes to a whole nother level, baby.
They roll up. And listen, you see that yellow and purple all over the city.
Yep.
They're selling out.
Yeah.
When they're in the stands, they're the loudest.
They are the loudest.
They're just selling it out for it. And this is the beautiful thing, man. Like you get to decide, like, are you going to be the frumpy guy sitting there heckling the refs, heckling the umpires,
so true,
whining about the balls and strikes? Or are you going to be the guy who's just cheering on that guy with 3 balls, 2 strikes, the bottom of the 9th inning to hit that game winner? Man, like, who do you want to be?
Who do you want to? True story, dude. I love that you use that illustration. I went to the CWS championship game, Florida versus LSU.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was cheering for when I rolled up.
Right.
But I got 1 inning in and I was like,
you're like,
LSU,
I'm
baby,
with them. Let's go.
That's the power.
That's
right.
What
we're talking about here, man.
Come on.
It will seriously turn fans into followers. I was like, I was looking up their players. I found out that a couple of them are going to be drafted 1 and 2.
Yep.
It's like, what? My experience was
crazy.
absolutely shifted as a result of those crazy fans.
That's
okay,
right.
let's
Number
jump to
7.
number 7. Here we go. Are y'all still with us? I mean, come on, let's go. This is fun.
It's you, boss. Let's go.
Purpose. Okay, who am I and what do I want? This, I think, really, actually, this comes back to what we were talking about in regards to solitude and clarity.
Yep.
Like, I really believe this. When we talk about purpose, who am I and what do I want? Yep. I believe there's only one person that can help us answer that.
Yep.
And it's God.
Yep.
It's getting quiet with God and asking the question, God, who am I? Like, who am I in Christ? Well, who have you called me to be in Christ? But even practically, like,
Yep.
who am I?
Come on.
What are you calling me to put my hands to? Like, am I a writer? Am I a speaker? Am I a business leader?
Yep.
Like, am I a teacher? Like, have you caused me to like just look and design buildings and be this magnificent architect? Like,
Yep.
God can help you answer that question. Who am I? And then what do I want? When we get clear about these things, what it does allow us to do is it defines the journey or the path that we're going on.
Yep.
Now we can actually embrace the process. See, so many people don't know what their purpose is. They don't know who they are or where they're going, which is what creates the frustration for where they are in the here and now. They haven't even created a path.
Yep.
So no wonder they're frustrated and insecure because they haven't gotten that clarity. That clarity comes when we get in solitude, and that clarity informs the step we should take today for a better tomorrow.
Mike, let me share this, man. I just got back from VU conference, Miami, Florida. Man, we love the guys at VU. What they're doing is incredible. And listen, if you need a touch, if you're asking questions about your purpose, I'm just challenging you to make time for it to go get those questions answered.
Yes.
And for me, I went in not even realizing that I had questions.
Wow.
To be honest with you, man, like you can get on this leadership journey and you're just like, man, I'm trucking. I got to keep showing up every day. And yet this number 7 can be looming over your shoulder. Like, what is my purpose? And
what am I doing?
Next thing you know, our boy Henry Seeley from Belonging Co. just hops up there on a piano. And the next thing you know, the Lord's just speaking to me.
Wow.
And for me, it was this thing where I realized that I was putting off an identity that the Lord had given me. He had told me a long time ago that I was a creative. I'm the creative pastor, right? Like I'm supposed to have all this stuff figured out.
Right.
And yet here I am, like grappling with this fact that I'm an artist. Like, and he's made me that way.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And I need to walk in that. I need to embrace that. That's who he's calling me to be. And so it was just this incredible moment where I had to realize, like, not only am I, I'm an artist, but it's his desire for me to influence other artists. And it just so changed the way that I was thinking about this next season of life. And for some of you, you're busy chasing the dollar. Mm-hmm. You're busy chasing the next revenue goal, the next, location you want to open for your brick and mortar. You're chasing, I need to grow my team numerically. The truth of the matter is, you've got to get resolute in who you are that is directly attached to what you're building. It will orient your next goal in a way that will bring so much more fulfillment than just chasing the number.
100%.
And so that's why I think purpose, we could do a whole episode about purpose.
And we will someday. But I've watched how it's changed the way you're showing up.
Thank you.
That clarity is powerful. And that's true for the listeners. Like, that can happen in your life. Begin with the end in mind.
Yep.
Think legacy when you ask these questions. All right, number 8, and I think we'll go through these last 3 pretty swiftly, but evaluate my intake.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Man, when we think about what we're taking in, I have this beautiful device on my wrist. It's called a Whoop. Here's the thing, the numbers don't lie. If I sleep 5 hours, my Whoop is going to tell me my recovery was bad.
There we go.
When I'm not getting enough water. It tells me, I promise you, it's not going well. My workouts aren't going well. Hey, for some of you, these are the things you need to evaluate physically, emotionally, spiritually, right? These are the basics of your intake.
That's it.
If you don't like the results of your life, start evaluating these things and change one thing at a time.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's slow down.
Slow down.
We already got here.
Yeah.
One thing at a time. For me, it was CrossFit. I know that dirty
Change
word.
your life.
Oh my gosh. We don't need to talk about never mind. We're not going to go there today. You don't want to hear about my CrossFit experience another time. But this was a new input in my life.
Yep.
And it really changed the way that I'm looking at life. It's hard. It makes everything in my life feel less difficult because of how hard it actually is. For you, maybe your intake is, man, you're lacking vision. You're lacking ideas. Maybe you need a coach.
Yep.
Let's just be real. Maybe you need a coach that's going to bring some new and fresh ideas into the space that you're currently walking in. Maybe for some of you, it's just as simple as, man, I need to change what I'm eating. Like, maybe you just need to stop drinking your calories. I don't know what it is for you, but like you got to make a change if you're not liking your output. If what's happening is insecurity. Listen, man, my whole life I've dealt with body image. That's just been part of it.
Yeah.
I've lost weight. I've gained weight. I lost a lot of weight at one point, over 100 pounds. I've gained some of it back. Like, the fact is, for me, this is a big area that I'm continuing to master.
So good.
Each and every day. And I probably will be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so, leader, there's probably something in your life that has you tied up just the same. And I'm just asking you today, would you consider looking at it and consider making it just a simple change?
Yep. I like to say this, your inputs determine your outcomes.
Yep.
So if you don't like your outcomes, then you need to reevaluate your inputs.
That's right.
And what you said is we're talking about things that you have control over.
Right.
See, that's the thing that we sometimes just want to skip over.
Right.
What are the inputs that you have control over? Let's stop making excuses around those things. Now, there are circumstances outside of your control that are impacting your life and the outcomes that are happening in your life. You can't control those.
Yep.
Turn those over to God, put them at the feet of Jesus, but the inputs you can control, evaluate them and start taking action. I love this one. Number 9, prayer.
It's funny you say that. What do you do with those things you don't have control over?
You pray.
That's what you do.
Prayer is not our last response. It's not, how do we say it?
All right.
Prayer is our first response.
That's right.
Not our last resort.
Yep.
Like, it's not our last resort. It's our first response. There it is. Prayer is not our last resort. It's our first response.
Come on.
Yeah. We need to, and I would just say, like, with insecurity, like, as we're going through this episode, maybe you're like, man, I haven't even really thought about this struggle.
Yep.
But it's actually, if I really take time to get self-aware, there are a couple things that I'm extremely insecure about.
Yep.
And I've been avoiding those things. Man, there's no better place to process through these things than in your prayer closet.
Yep.
In the secret place. I like to say the secret place is the secret sauce. I don't know, man. When you commit to getting in the secret place, in prayer with God, that's where the supernatural can happen. And there are some things that you've been trying to manage, but God's got a miracle in motion.
Yep.
He actually wants to set you free, and it's going to happen in a posture of prayer. Get in prayer about the thing that you're struggling with.
That's right. This last one, number 10, is set a goal and crush it. So here's the thing. We are going to work like it all depends on us, and we're going to pray like it all depends on God.
Come on, I love that connection.
So the truth of the matter is here, man, if you want to feel successful, if you want to feel more secure, man, set up opportunities for success. Make a little goal and crush it. What would James Clear say? Just keep showing up.
That's it.
One day at a time. Cast a vote for who you want to be.
That's so good.
Every single day as you show up, man, you're casting that vote. This is who I am. This is who I am. I'm going to give myself the validation. This is who I am. The beautiful part is, man, you can set these small little goals that will help you feel all the more successful. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I'm going back to CrossFit. Forgive me. You have to show up every day and be humbled by the weight that's on the board. You're literally looking at it saying, this is what's prescribed. But for me, the goal right now is I'm just going to keep getting there, knowing that I'm getting stronger each and every time that I'm there.
That's it.
So for some of you, when we say set a goal, you're like, yeah, I set my goals and I'm not meeting them. I'm saying maybe you need a new goal.
Totally.
Maybe you need a new goal that's going to help you feel successful. As we think about all 10 of these, I think when we break it all down, Mike, the fact is we all deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
As plain as it is, we could say these are the 10 ways, and yet we're going to walk out of this room right now probably feeling like this podcast could have been better.
For sure. Confronted with our own insecurity.
Is anybody going to listen?
Yep.
Does anybody care?
That's it, yeah.
The truth of the matter is, man, like we're all dealing with this stuff. And so we're all imposters.
Yep. 70%. The data shows. Harvard did the study.
Right.
70% of people struggle with what we're talking about.
That's right.
So, man, you're not alone.
And the other 30 are lying.
For sure. So again, when we talk about 10, we hope that one of these was helpful. Don't get overwhelmed and try to implement all 10 and try to do too much too soon.
That's right.
But I love even just what you said there at the end about, setting goals. Setting goals, not necessarily around outcomes, but around inputs.
Yep.
And that's what these things are right here. A lot of these are focused on inputs. And when we commit to the process and we cast that vote for who we want to be, it's just a matter of time before you and I become that.
Yep.
Listen, I can go to Burger King today and my body's not really going to change. I can go to the gym today and my body's not really going to change. But if I eat Burger King for a full year, my body's changing. If I go to the gym for a full year, my body's changing. It's small inputs daily that are going to break us free from insecurity. Come on. Man. Got any parting thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. I just want to say thank you. This is just so fun to just hop on and be able to share some of the things we're learning.
Yep.
And, for me, it's been such an honor. I started by just sharing a little bit of my story of coming on the team here at Love. It was one of the hardest things that I've had to do in my life. Not because the work was hard, but managing my own insecurity amongst a team of 25 other people that I didn't know was one of the most challenging things that I've really faced in my leadership.
Wow.
The art of learning to win people over and earn their respect and to gain trust with them. It has been a season where I've had to look in the mirror and answer some really hard questions. I've had to have people come alongside of me, look me straight in the eyes and say things that I didn't want to hear. But the truth of the matter is I'm better for it.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for this season. I'm so thankful for you, man. You believed in me, our friendship, everything, every step of the way over the last 5 years, man. I wouldn't be where I am. I said that before without you. And this opportunity, we always joked around, what would it look like to do this together? And I'm just so thankful that I've had this opportunity. This is just the beginning.
For sure, man.
Man, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for our listeners who are even diving in with us, that are ready to grow in their leadership. But for those of us that are building Love Church, man, the truth is, like, we're thankful that they're saying yes to growing, saying yes to becoming all that God has invited them into, because, man, we're building the kingdom of God. We're building his house, and look at this thing.
It's incredible. It really is.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for you, man, and just grateful that you're going on the journey. Just really proud of not what you do, but who you are.
Thank you.
And who you're becoming. Stay the course, man. God's going to continue to do incredible things, not just through you, but through everybody that's listening to this. And we hope that you're encouraged. If you're encouraged by this,
come on.
A couple ways that you can help us out. Number one, man, on any platform where you can leave a comment, let us know your feedback. We would love that. Number two, man, share it with somebody. If this episode blessed you, man, please share it with somebody because, hey, we want to see people kill insecurity before insecurity kills them. And hey, until next time, keep leading strong, continue to pursue wholeness and healthiness, and we'll see you soon. What's up, Love Leadership fam? Man, we know that if you're tuning in, you love to lead, and we hope that this episode brought you value. We're gonna be dropping a new episode the third Thursday of every month, so subscribe, like. Also, there's more Love Leadership content for you on our channel. Go check it out right now. We can't wait to see you next month.